what I'd like each of you to address is, you have various partners, whether licensees, promotional partners. How do you evaluate who is a good partner for you? There are a bunch of manufacturers out here. There are a bunch of potential promotional partners. What are you looking for when you approach somebody or somebody approaches you about potentially aligning with you, whether as a licensee or a promotional partner? Anurag, why don't you take that first?
See, for us, it is like the first thing is a lot of people say that Angry Birds speaks to a particular TG, but if you look at, we are a completely four-quadrant brand and how the kind of products we go to. So the important thing what we look at is primarily how the TG is going to be connect, what is the quality of the product which is going to end up going into the consumer hands when it's talking about licensing just the brand around it, because that's how it speaks and the kind of testing it is going to go through, what is the past experience of the licensee has been in the market, and what is the kind of reach distribution which is going to come out of it. So that is one part of it. When it comes to the promotional part of it, the business, of course, it is about our objective. It's like now we're starting, like, for example, right now we're talking about Angry Birds 2, which did something like 50 million downloads in less than a month. But going forward, starting January, it's going to be the complete movie flavor. So what you're going to see Angry Birds on the shelf is like even few months before the movie is released, you will start seeing the merchandise of the Angry Birds hitting the shelf. So how the journey is going to be, what are the partners which are going to be, speaking the same language, are going to touch the same TG in what manner which is going to happen. So this is the, the broad areas we look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think going back to what I said earlier, for us the most important thing about our licensing business is that it is a critical part of the consumer fan experience that we have. I mean, Martin, you're from New York, so you understand what, I don't know if you've been to an NBA game, but for us, if we could have every one of our fans, or if we could get, potential fans to go to an actual NBA game, we'd increase our fans, multifold. But the reality is less than 2% of our fans actually have the opportunity to go and experience an NBA game. So everything we do, whether
Are you talking about fans in India or fans
globally,
anywhere globally?
Less than 2% of our fans globally have ever been to a live NBA game in a stadium. So whatever we do, whether it's television and a television licensing partnership or whether it's an e-commerce partnership, the critical thing is to make sure that we try and bring some of that experience into a fan, whether he owns a product of ours or he's just interacting with it. So for us, it's absolutely crucial to make sure that the fit is right, and it represents what our brand is, the aspirational values, the sexy factor of it. It represents that. And the way we look at it is that when we get into a partnership, we put everything behind it. So I'll give you an example. We got into a partnership with Jabong to launch NBAstore.in here. So when we launched it, or as we, it's been about a year now and it's doing extremely well, what we've done is we've gone to our television partnership, our television partner Sony 6, we've created an advertisement spot, put it on live games, put it on Sony 6 and promote it. Go to NBAstore.in powered by Jabong to buy NBA products. We've used our digital partnerships. So we've used all our platforms to make sure that our partner is actually, gets the exposure that he needs and is successful. So it's really important for us, whatever partnership we get in, we'll invest behind it. The minimum guarantee is good, revenue share, the royalties are good, but the more important thing is that the entire, the ecosystem around that product is successful.
That word has come up a lot today, ecosystem. Nothing exists in a vacuum anymore. With all the platforms that are out there, be they streaming, be they standard TV or any other. So I think that's a really important point that is getting made today. Vishal, what about when you're looking at potential licensees? What are you looking at?
See, pertaining to promotional licensing categorically, that's the subject we're speaking. So I would rate, I would say 3 words, reach, relevance, and experience. Because if I am looking at a promotional licensing, see, for me, it's a little complicated as brand Sanjeev Kapoor because we do endorsement also as a part of our business. So typically we do endorsement in mostly commodity-based products. So let's say an oil. we can't do much to an oil, you know. So we will take that category in endorsement. So let's say if we are doing salt or, you know, so strategically we take most of the commodity based products in endorsement. Promotional licensing, we look at reach, relevance and experience. I'll just give you an example. Let's say there is a homegrown brand called Go. Go cheese is their product. Now they've come with paneer, and there was cottage cheese. So they wanted to sell cottage cheese. Now they have put it in the shelves and they wanted it to move. So one of the ideas that they thought was to do. They approached us, and what we did is we looked at the reach. They had a reach in terms of retail because they have retailers and trade and vast reach, more than 100,000 retail outlets put together. So what we did is we give them blended spices or masalas, what you say, which was like the paneer tikka masala. So it's like when you buy that block and you have, so it's easy, ready to cook, you know. So it really added an experience to the end user. And as a brand, we build the emotional connectivity. When we see on the pack Chef Sanjeev Kapoor, it's accepted, and the sell-throughs. So the big point that I look at, like a lot of people ask me, why should we take your brand and why don't we do it on our own, and you know, all these conversation. I've seen there's a big impact on sell-throughs. So if out of 10 packs or maybe out of 100 packs, we would sell 70 to 80 packs. But if there is a generic brand which customers will find new on the shelf, the percentages would differ from, you know, 20 to maybe let's say 40, 50. And that's what is happening to the private label. So one of the innovations, or probably the way that we are looking at moving in, is we are connecting and looking at opportunities directly associating it with retailers in the food category. So we are not doing promotional licensing. So because I'll just give you an example, worked in Disney and Viacom, couple of brands in the past. Disney, it was more in terms of packaging when it came to food. So, but here we actually are doing it to the product and not just to the mind of the consumer. So that's what we are doing it a little differently.
Okay. In the write-up of this session, there was a question, or one of the topics was about streaming platforms, streaming digital platforms. I'd like to turn that a little bit and ask about e-commerce and where it figures into your licensing and overall marketing programs. Yannick, why don't you start?
Yeah, I just think it has completely changed the way we are able to market our products. There's always been expansion through physical stores. There's always been, it's a slower process, as we all know. I mean, we're present right now in about 350 Adidas stores. But that expansion, there are certain limits in terms of what you can and cannot do through that. I think what e-commerce has helped us do is help two things. One, it's helped us just get immense reach. I mean, in the first 2 months we opened our e-commerce store, we delivered products to 250 towns, to customers in 250 towns and villages. And I think the second and important thing is that it actually gave us, because our merchandise business was very nascent at that time, it gave us the confidence and the demonstration that there is a latent demand for product in sport, as long as it's well packaged, as long as you market it properly. The demand has been immense. I mean, basketball shoes which get sold out on our site very quickly. And the delivery is from Guwahati to Indore to Chhattisgarh. It's all over the place. So I think that delivery mechanism, the ability to reach out to consumers and also modify on the fly. Styles are changing, trends are changing, what people actually want. Players are being more successful. Steph Curry was the MVP the year before. 2 months earlier, Kevin Durant got injured. Just to be able to change the way things are marketed and demonstrated.
How does it complicate things in terms of, certain of your licensees only have rights in certain markets for certain categories? How does e-commerce complicate that? And what do you do? How do you handle that?
It doesn't, we're very upfront in terms of, we're very transparent in terms of what we have and what we don't have with all our licensees. So what we try to do is make sure that everyone complements each other. So again, a simple example, we have a partnership with Jabong for NBA Store.in. We have New Horizon, who makes NBA branded socks in India. We have Spalding. We have Samsonite, American Tourister, does a lot of stuff with us in NBA branded bags. Now, those products, Jabong is our partner in NBAstore.in, place orders obviously throughout the year. Amazon also does it. We don't restrict their ability to go and sell to other e-commerce ventures because it's important for them.
So if I'm sitting in India and
Right.
going on my computer,
Right.
I know that there's a different SOC licensee in the US, for example. Can I order those goods or?
You can.
I can.
Okay. Because the way we look at it is, from a product perspective, we make sure it's all owned by us. The partnerships, there are different partnerships that we have. So we make sure that whether it's pricing or product placement is actually done properly, is to make sure that what's available in India is differentiated. There are some products which are high-end or a certain niche audiences which you can order directly from the US, which is fine, and there's no restriction on it.
Okay. Vishal, where does e-commerce enter into your plans?
We run an e-commerce portal which is called www.sanjeevkapoor.com, and we have the entire products which are available there. Looking at like the buzzword ecosystem that you're talking about, the entire e-commerce ecosystem will start impacting you once your market penetration reaches a certain level. So for example, today there are different kind of models in e-commerce. So a retailer who has purchased our product could put it on e-com, and if he wants to clear off, maybe he has bought in some schemes, he can also upload that products. We have on our official site also, and plus we can, let's say you're talking about how complicated the licensing is. So let's say we do segment channel-wise segmentation while issuing licenses. So there is an e-commerce licensing which is separate, so you don't have just rights to sell in various, but this is the biggest problem. I would say it's a challenge to control. Because there have been cases wherein people have likes and replicas and which have been uploaded and sold at some crazy price. And with the big ones, let's say the top 5 e-commerce players we can control, but I think it's just evolving on its own, and brands, because for me there are 2 challenges. One is controlling e-commerce, and we are in a sensitive category. We're in food. Let's say you order something in food and it works out. It could be a big disaster,
Okay.
So the risk quotient is very high. So food business right now, we've kept it very low. We haven't, we're not doing except our side. We've been trying to do that. And also in terms of logistics, the food business, let's say masala pack would cost you $40, but let's say appliances would be 3K. So now what happens is logistically when you start delivering, your economics you have to really manage, because in a low value product, your shipping cost would be would be going 20 to 30 to 40%,
Okay.
So that's the other part of the system. But e-commerce, if you have a well-defined strategy, and like one of the questions you asked Yannick, is somebody importing from other markets, those things will bound to happen, but regulation is as such, because I have been in the sports space with Everlast and other brands, and if you import, the import duty, it reaches you, it's like 100% more. So unless and until the customers would want to have, because digital space, it is no more like, you might go to a store and you would want to buy something which is last season. So people are very evolved. You have a pressure in terms of clearing your inventories, and also being in the perishable space, and especially food. So those are the challenges, I would say.
Okay. Anurag, how does Rovio handle this?
Well, we are a digital company, so I mean, for us, it makes
You
all
have a
the
leg up at the beginning, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, just to give the numbers, I mean, we are more than downloaded. Again, let me repeat a couple of numbers. It's like downloaded more than 3 billion times, which makes us the largest downloaded entertainment brand on mobile. What it entails into, it's like 27 million Facebook fans. We are the largest viewed YouTube channel. How many views? More than 3 billion. So it's like, so what's happening is like, it is the relevance. I think the topic speaks about maximizing the effectiveness. I think it's about, the digital is teaching us, it's about being effective at that particular time. So what is digital doing to us is like, it's a smartphone, you're playing the game, you're engaging with the brand, you're watching the video, you're engaging with the brand, you're about to watch a trailer of the movie, engaging with the brand. There, it's the opportunity to also buy the brand. So, that's what we are doing. It's like when you have those kind of numbers. In India, it's like 140 million smartphone people, which numbers are talking about. We have more than 100 million downloads. So it's like, for us, it's a very interesting journey which is becoming, because this is the ecosystem which is enabling us, And this is the ecosystem which we are also helping, to do things in a smarter manner. In fact, what we are doing is like...
What you have is 140 million sales terminals.
Yeah. It's exactly happening this way. For example, we're coming with a movie, right? Because the movie is now based on the game. So what we are doing is we are launching a game which is based on the movie. So if you look at the journey, it's like a movie which is based on the game, and there is going to be a game which is going to have the movie. So there are a lot of partners which I can't announce. So what they are doing is we will launch the game before the movie, and people will start engaging with the movie before the movie is launched in the form of a game. And what retail is doing is, it's a first of its kind experience which is going to happen. There are certain things which are going to happen in the retail, in the licensing space, which only if you engage with the physical brand, the digital will enable it. So you need to be there on the digital, you need to have the physical, and then you get the complete experience. So it's for us, it's a brilliant journey. It's like, this is the enabler, this is the ecosystem which is driving us actually.